as well, Karen.
Okay. Hi, Brett. We just have
Hello.
one more minute.
Whose 252 number is that?
I'm
Debbie
not sure.
Campbell.
Oh,
Hey, Deb.
Debbie Campbell.
hi, Deb.
Hi.
Okay, now I have 6 p.m. So if you're set, Terry, we're set. So I'll call the meeting to order, and I will let you know again, under the governor's executive order, we're doing our meeting by Zoom, which requires that for any votes, we're going to do a roll call vote. And what else? And if you'd like to speak, we'd ask that you would let me know by raising your hand or pushing the little hand signal on your Zoom platform to let us know. And if everyone else would mute their microphone until they're called on to speak, that would be great. And we will move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're able to stand, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United
of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Thank you. So we'll do a roll call vote. Clerk Funk is not feeling well, so she will not be joining us this evening. We have Treasurer Anderson. We have Trustee Barb Vert.
Present.
Trustee Carol Pfaff-Dahl.
Present.
Trustee Tom Klee.
Present.
And we have our longest serving board member, Frank Castle.
Present.
Thank you very much. Are there any additions or deletions for this evening's agenda? I sent out some emails. I sent you the memo of understanding to go along with action item E for promotion of Phil McBride. I sent you just before the meeting estimates from Mike Pfeiffer on the police parking lot, along with the police department budget, and Kevin Salter can speak to that when we get to that. And I also sent an invoice that we got for archiving. I'd like to add that as action item H. It would be the Equiture DSS invoice. I don't know if there's any other additions or deletions. I don't think so. We'll move on to the correction and approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes from the last board meeting from September 14th? No, September 7th, 2020. No corrections? So we're going to do a roll call vote to approve those. Tracy, can you call off the roll call, please?
Sure. Trustee Vert,
Yes.
Trustee Pfaff-Dahl,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Castle,
Here.
Are you approving the minutes, Frank?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Trustee Klee,
Yes.
Great. Those are approved. And we have, let's see, public comment. If you'd like to address the board, now's the time to do so. If you address the board, you'll be given 4 minutes to speak, and we just ask that you'd identify yourself. No need for your address. So we open it up to anyone who'd like to address our board. Flint Township. Anybody? No? I'll ask one more time. If there's anyone who would like to address the board at this time, just let me know. And you have 4 minutes to address the board. Since nobody's showing me their hand, we're going to move on to reports. I don't have a lot to report except that this last Monday, we started our road millage repair projects on the southeast end of the township off of Van Slyke and Gerard. And Mike could probably give us a little update when he speaks to us when we get to B for Linden Creek Parkway, because he'll explain some of the estimates. But other than that, I appreciate everyone bearing with me. I know that complaints have been going to, whether it's a garbage complaint to the garbage company or road complaints to the road commission, and I haven't received hardly any complaints. I know they've been directed to Barb Vert, and I appreciate her taking those responsibility for all that. Thanks, Barb, for getting them complaints taken care of. That's my report for this evening, and I'm doing better, and thanks for your prayers. I'll ask Madam Treasurer if she has a report this evening.
No, I do not have a report.
Are there any trustee reports this evening? Trustee Fafdal?
Sorry. We did have a planning commission meeting last Thursday, and we did do an amendment for the ground effects. Basically, it was just updating the drawings for the driveway and also the landscaping between the driveway. We did approve that. We did have a public hearing for special land use. That was for a group childcare for 7 to 12 children. That was approved. And we did also have a site plan review, which was for the RMI over there on Lennon Road. It was for a CT scan trailer, and that's temporary, and that also was approved. And then I do have one more thing I'd just like to make mention. We did have a community events meeting today to see if it would be feasible to have a drive-through trunk or treat. We're going to meet tomorrow at the Health Source Drive to see if that area would be accommodating for a safe environment. Again, this is just in the makings. It's not for sure that we're going to be able to do this, but we are talking about it.
Carol, can I ask you a couple of specifics? Where was the location of the special land use for the daycare? I didn't see that.
That was on Mackin Road.
Mackin Road, thanks.
G3498.
And the RMI, is that just temporary? Or are they gonna be adding on permanently?
About 1.5 to 2 years they plan on adding on to the building.
And how temporary is that structure that they're putting there?
It's a trailer.
Will it stay until they add on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other trustee reports? Tom, Trustee Klee.
Thank you. Glad to see you instead of just hearing you. Nice to see you here. I just want to say that there's been a lot of activity going on. I want to applaud Kevin, Chief Salter. I want to applaud Chief Salter for his efforts. They have been extremely busy in the last 3 weeks, and Kevin and the crew have just been doing an amazing job, and it's good stuff. And he is being pulled both ways, as we all know. And I did not get a chance to mention that last meeting, but I'm sitting at the Civil Service Commission meeting that particular week and hearing what he had to say and listening, and having sat on the civil service for a couple 2.5 years, it's important and glad that I'm glad that he, if you will, stepped up to take that on as number one. So Kev, thank you so much. Appreciate all the efforts that you're putting forth, and you're both sides of the team.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep. Also, I'd like to, if you guys haven't seen this magazine, this is September's issue of The Focus, and right on the front cover it says "Changing Elections and Changing Times," and it is the article, the cover story, and it has to do with our township totally and explicitly, and all the work that our township has done towards the election. It has quotes in here from Kathy. It has quotes in here from Angie in here, and it's really an amazing article. If you haven't had a chance to pick it up and read it, you can get it at the township, I'm sure. If somebody needs my copy, I'll be more than happy to share it. But the clerk's office was very well highlighted in here as one of the top-notch clerk's offices, and for all the efforts and works they're doing with the election. I don't know if everybody was made aware of that. I just wanted to pop it up after I had went and perused it. But other than that, Karen, glad you're here in face and voice. So keep getting stronger. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Are there any other trustee reports? No? No report, Frank? No report, Barb? No? Okay. what was I gonna say? We'll move on to staff report. So Tom, you mentioned the article in the magazine. We all got a copy of that, didn't we? Right? Township.
Yes,
Can
I
you-
got a copy. It's a good article.
Great, thank you. Congratulations to the clerk. Chief Salter, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Since our last meeting on September 8th, I'll talk about the police department first. They actually responded to over 1,000 calls for service, which is about average of 15 per day less than normal. We're at 85 right now, so that's a good sign. On Sunday, September 13th, there was a hit and run fatal accident on Ballinger Highway in Flushing. After the vehicle hit the victim, the suspect car fled the scene. With the help from the media and tips from the community, which there's a lot of people that called in for tips to find the car, the suspect's car is located by Flint City PD and Michigan State Police. Then through a detective's investigation and follow-up, a suspect was identified as Raymond Bishop, and the Genesee County prosecutor issued multiple charges against him, including homicide, manslaughter with a motor vehicle. So it was a great job by all. Last week, we did a first responders drive-by at Genesee Landings with Big B Coffee providing the free coffee for everyone. And recently, our community resource officer, Officer Chiza, has been helping code enforcement with impounding cars not in compliance with the township code. So he's been pretty busy recently with the code enforcement. Next, I'll go into the fire department. Since September 8th, we responded to over 20 alarms. We assisted Money Township Fire on a structure fire 9/10 of 20. Then last night, we responded to a residential structure fire in Heatherwood Drive. There was a minor fire and smoke damage for the building. We were assisted by Mount Morris Station 2 at this incident. No one was at home at the time of the fire and no injuries were reported, so that's good news. We recently started the fall hydrant maintenance. There's over 1,500 hydrants that they have to inspect. So right now they're all staying busy trying to make sure that's done before the winter time. And that concludes the report for the fire department and police department. And I have 3 items for the agenda tonight.
So I thank you for doing that, Chief Salter. I also wanted to mention, I see Brett Beckley's on. I don't see his face. Maybe we'll get his face next time. But 2 of the reasons why, and I might have mentioned this already, I asked Brett Beckley to step up to the interim assistant chief was his certification and training for ongoing mandatory training of our fire department officers, but also coming from his previous fire department, they had acquired a fire truck while he was there, and they're finishing up one of our fire trucks, and he's going to be able to work with Kevin Salter and make sure that everything that we ordered is everything that we get, and make sure that we get delivery of that by the end of the year. So I know Chief Salter gave us a report for the fire department. I just wanted to throw that out there and say thanks for joining us, Brett, and doing the work that you're doing.
Absolutely, and we thank you for your support also, board.
Thank you. I want to go to, if we finished trustee reports, I want to go to committee report. John Whiteside, secretary of our road advisory committee, was just going to give a quick update on some work that's going on.
Can you hear me, Karen?
Yes.
Okay, I got an email today from the county, and Barb Verd had called me a couple weeks ago possibly, and they were redoing some resurfacing on Maple Road between Van Slyke and Fenton. And I told her at the time, my suspicion was they were going to do a chip and seal. Well, that's what the email said. It said Maple Road from Torrey Road to Fenton Road, and then Torrey Road from Maple Road to Bristol Road would be chip and seal. And that's supposed to start September 23rd. And they said between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., the roads will be closed to through traffic. And I'm sure they probably are putting signage up pertaining to that. That's all I got, Karen. I hope you're feeling better.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. So are there any other committee reports? I don't think so. Anything from the senior center, Barb? Sorry, putting you on the spot. No?
Nope, not right now, but things are going well.
Great.
Going well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. So we'll move on to number 9, Madam Treasurer, payment of bills.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay bills in the amount of $2,347.74 and acknowledge payments of invoices and other disbursements in the amount of $5,429,321. I'm sorry, let me do that again. $5,429,321.34 for a grand total of $5,431,669.08.
So we have a motion from Madam Treasurer. Is there a second to the motion to pay the bills?
I'll support.
Thank you. Any questions for Madam Treasurer? Tracy, if you would please, roll call on the payment of the bills.
Trustee Fapdall,
Yes.
Trustee Fapdall, thank you. Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Castle,
Yeah, yes.
Trustee Klee,
Yes.
Trustee Vert.
Yes.
Motion's unanimous.
Thank you. I'm not aware of correspondence and informational items, and there might be at the end of the packet, but I didn't see them, so we shall move on. Action item A is Commerce and Exchange Special Assessment District number 104. I'll start with Tracy. Did you want to, you sent the information out to all the trustees? I trust that everyone got one, and I'll go ahead, Tracy.
Correct. I sent the new resolution along with the roll that is based on the bids that they did open at the Road Commission today. The Commerce and Exchange project will not begin until next year. So the resolution has a change in item 2 for the date that it will start through the date that it will end. We did this based on a 12-year payback, and the cost per parcel on this is going to be $14,000, and they will have the opportunity to pay in a lump sum or to pay back with a moderate interest rate. So that's why we looked at the 12-year, but if you wanted to make it a 10-year payback, that would be up to you. On this project, the overall cost of construction is $598,990. I did include a 10% rate for contingencies, which was $59,899 for a total plus $137,000 for engineering. That brings the total cost of the project to $795,889. And I did send these new costs out to everybody as well. The Road Commission will pay for the engineering at a cost of $137,000. Flint Township, which is actually the DDA, has committed to paying 25%, which would be $164,722. And then the remainder is split between the properties, which is $494,166.75. So this is for the reconstruction of Commerce and Exchange, and the SAD, the Special Assessment District, is Commerce and Exchange number 104.
So I think everybody got that information. I was going to have Mike Piper speak if he has anything to add. Where'd he go? There he is.
Those are not the numbers I think I see in my packet, unless I pulled something different for Commerce.
I sent a new email today at
Right.
about 5:30.
Right, I pulled those, I thought, but I'm looking at Commerce and Exchange.
Got it? All right, awesome.
Karen, did you want me to speak?
Sure.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Mike Piper here. Tracy pretty well covered everything associated with the bids that were taken today, but to let you know where we go from here, tonight is the night that we set the public hearing. We want to set it for October 5th, and then the road commission board, assuming everything goes good at that public hearing and the projects are approved, the board has it also set to go on the agenda for October 6th for the board to approve it. So Linden Creek Parkway is the only project that will be built this year because of the urgency to take care of GM, because they're having significant problems with the condition of that road. It's damaging their equipment and causing them all kinds of problems. And so they're continuing to use Maple Avenue until we get the road reconstructed. So that will start probably within a couple weeks at most after the board meeting for the road commission, and it's got to be completed prior to November 13th. Now the restoration won't get done until next year. So, but the actual paving, which is to remove 10 inches of existing asphalt and gravel and replace it with 10 inches of new asphalt, will be done this year, including some repairs to catch basins, driveway approaches, curb and gutter, and a few other things. And as Tracy said, the other projects, because of the lateness in the year, will not start until next spring, likely no earlier than May 3rd. And the reason we hope to be a little bit earlier with these projects, but the road commission was extremely busy with a lot of their projects when I made the submittals, and it took them a long time before they were able to get to it. So they actually didn't get it reviewed until about 5 weeks. So that put us in the position that we're in now. And just to quickly touch on the other projects, I think everybody knows that we have another 2 groups of projects, and the plans in those are done. The road commission needs to review them and get back any comments they have to me. And we're intending on bidding those in January, the other 2 groups of projects. I don't think you want me to name them right now. If you do, I will.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, but right. But those will also go under construction next spring. So the only one that will be built this year again is Linden Creek, and that's because the urgency with GM. The others will all start next spring, and I believe we'll get better prices and also get a better job by starting it early in the year instead of trying to literally cram it in at the end of the year. Linden Creek Parkway, we're in a position, like I said, we have no choice because it's critical to GM.
So can you give us a start date on Linden Creek Parkway again?
Yeah, well, it's going to go before the board on October 6th. Okay, that would be the award. So the contractor typically has to get his bonds and insurance together and mobilize to start construction. I estimate they'll do that inside of 2 weeks. I would think that they're going to try to do what they have to do to expedite their startup date, because the weather will, only be good for so long. But the good thing about that project is that we're not excavating the earth material. We will have some stone base, which means that we ought to be able to, proceed with the project a lot more efficiently without having problems with the weather, because we don't have to deal with clay subgrades and things that go along with that. So I anticipate it shouldn't take them much longer than 2 or 3 weeks at most. So again, that project will be built this year, except for the final restoration, which will take place again next spring. So we, I guess, will not hold the public hearings in those projects, of course, until after we take bids. So that will be several months. Now, as far as the public hearings for the projects tonight, I guess we're hoping to have them all on October 5th, is my understanding.
Okay.
Anybody's got any questions or wants any other information?
Side note, while you're here, we started the road millage projects, what we're paying for with road millage projects or road millage funds. Those projects started on the 14th of September, correct?
Yes, they did. And I think I sent to you, Karen, and I believe others at the township, a copy of the contractor's progress schedule. But they're basically the work they're doing now. They are working in the Girard Court, Gerard Street, Westminster and Kingswood area over up by Van Slyke and Maple. And after they get that done, they're going to move on to Dye Road north of Maple Avenue and Dye Road south of Miller Road. But the schedule, according to the schedule here, they're going to start paving. They're actually going to start milling to prepare for the paving on September 27th. They're actually going to start the paving work on Kingswood and Westminster on September 30th. And then after they get Kingswood and Westminster done, they'll move on to Gerard Street and Gerard Court, because we don't want them paving the access roads into the subdivision or removing any pavement until they get the work farther back into the subdivision done. So they anticipate they're going to get Gerard Court and Gerard Drive done by October 9th, and then they'll move over to Dye Road on October 10th. And they estimate to finish all the paving on October 16th. And then they have a little bit of shoulder work to do and pavement markings. And all the project work is estimated to be done October 26th.
Thank you. Sorry for that side note, but I appreciate the update, Mike.
Sure.
Tracy, was there anything else you wanted to add to action item A?
Nope, pretty much all set. I think he pretty much covered what I didn't.
Okay, so now is the time. A motion will be in order to set the public hearing for the Commerce and Exchange Special Assessment District public hearing. Special Assessment District 104, the public hearing for October 5th. Is there a motion to move forward?
We would move that we set the date for the special hearing.
For October 5th? Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Support from trustee, is that Bert? Yes. So are there any comments or questions or discussion? And if not, we'll have to do a roll call vote on setting that public hearing, please, Tracy.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Castle,
yes,
Trustee Klee,
Yes.
Trustee Vert,
Yes.
Trustee Fafdahl.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion's unanimous.
That will be held on, the public hearing will be held on October 5th. And we'll put the agenda item on the agenda for the October 6th meeting. Tracy, action item B. Did you have anything else?
So this is the special assessment district for Linden Creek Parkway. And hold on, let me grab my paperwork go. There we go. This is Linden Creek Special Assessment District, Linden Creek Parkway, number 105. And again, we already discussed that this one would be this year. So the timing for it would be the Special Assessment District will have a 12-year period between 2020 and 2031. And this is to reconstruct 0.23 miles of Linden Creek Parkway from Linden Road to the Hewitt Drain. And the special assessment, I had sent you the new numbers that we received after doing the bid pack, our bid openings today. And the total cost of construction as bid was $364,000. We added 10% for contingencies and $92,000 for engineering. That brings the total to $492,400. The road commission will pay the $92,000 for the engineering. Flint Township will be responsible for $100,100, and then $300,300 is what the parcel holders will be responsible for. And that comes out to a cost of, whoops, $37,537.50 per parcel. And again, it would be split over 12 years if they don't pay in one pay up front.
It's $3,000 a year. So Tracy, might we, well, I guess that's happening this year, and no word from the state. They haven't changed their mind.
No. I mean, there's still a possibility that Jim Animick's still working on it, but it's still a no at this point. We
What
have
about-
contacted the parcels in the rear that are in the city of Flint, and they basically said no, they're not gonna input funds. I also let them know, however, that if the parcel owners in the front decide not to do the project won't get done this year. So they are aware, and again, like I said, their answer was no.
So I haven't sat there and looked, but are most of those properties in the backside in the city of Flint portion of the air park using Maple Road now?
I think pretty much, yeah.
That's what they're supposed to be doing, Karen.
Okay, so we have the information before us, and a motion would be in order to set the public hearing for October 5th, according to resolution. Is there a motion to move forward?
We would move that we go ahead and move forward with the Linden Creek Parkway with a question afterwards.
Setting the public hearing for October 5th. Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Who was that? Was that Carol Factel?
Carol.
Now open for discussion. Go ahead, Trustee Klee.
Hello.
My question is, and I drove through it again yesterday a couple of times, and Trace, this is what you were talking about, I think. And I'm trying to think way, way, way back. I know there was an old farmhouse on the property and different pieces that impacted the city and us.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, as we stated, and Mike, you said that very emphatically, the traffic going in and out and around and going out to Maple Road. We're taking hits from our residents, the few that we have along Maple Road there, because they see the trucks going up and down there. Is there any way, and I see that they've kind of upgraded the bridge, and I came in off of Hill Road also. They upgraded that brand new bridge in Mundy Township so that the fire trucks could come down Jennings Road, because that bridge that was there wasn't capable of holding, if I'm not mistaken. Is there any way we can force them to make a left and take the dirt road of Jennings out, rather than to bothering our residents, because they're driving on our side of Maple to
Right.
get to Linden Road, to make the right, to get to Bristol, to get to 69. I drove it yesterday a couple, 3 times, and I drove through the parking lots out there thinking, this isn't fair to the residents there that have brought complaints to us about this. And if the road gets changed, then sure, they can go out, but they should all pay their portion. Just a question, just racking my brain. Sorry about that. We've got our people that are on that street that we have to be concerned about.
Well, I think we're hoping that once we fix the Linden Creek Parkway, that will encourage them to use that, because the light is there. It is closer to the GM plant for them to use that light. However, Maple Road was paved and reconstructed with federal dollars just for entry to Continental and Matthew Drives. So there's no way we can stop them from using it.
So,
And just a little note for you all to remember, this is all part of the 425 agreement that we have with the city that expires in 2035. So any businesses that come in there, that all comes back to the township as part of our parcels in 2035. I do not foresee us extending that 425 agreement.
So just for more clarification, Tracy, when Maple Road east of Linden Road was resurfaced, it was, and Mike would know about this too, it was made for truck traffic. Is it a Class A truck route?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And federal dollars were used to build that, and the road commission was the sponsor, and of course they made sure the work got done, but that required by resolution approval of Mundy Township Board and Flint Township Board. That happened before all of us were in office.
Correct.
And they agreed to it. And I don't know if that would hold up in court to be able to close that road to truck traffic when the federal government gave dollars to make it a truck route. I don't know how we deal with that, Tom. I know we've gotten complaints. Mike, you had something?
Can I add one thing about that? The only reason they're not using Linden Creek Parkway right now is because it's in extremely poor condition. The supplies that they transport to the GM truck plant were getting damaged because it's in such bad condition. So Mundy Township was at a meeting we were at with GM, and they didn't have any problem with them continuing to use that road until Linden Creek was rebuilt. That's one reason why we made it a requirement that Linden Creek had to be done this year, so that they'll be able to access that roadway and not have to wait till next year. So, but again, you know, they would have the right to use Maple Avenue if they wanted, because it is a Class A public road. However, I think they want to use Linden Creek Parkway. They just needed to have it rebuilt to standards that would allow their cargo to not get damaged. So as I said, it has a left turn lane, it has a traffic signal, and that is what everybody wants to do, is my understanding, as soon as the road gets fixed. And they'd probably only use Maple as a backup, I would think.
Well, I guess I'm going back to the businesses that are at the back end. Are those City of Flint properties, and they have their, okay, and but if they're not going to pay a portion of the dollars, see what,
that's what
you know what I'm
Tracy
saying?
was saying, that they could voluntarily contribute, but we can't assess them because they're in the City of Flint, right? I mean, that agreement sets it up that that's part of City of Flint right now. And
Supervisor Miller, but I would like to add one other thing. I was talking with Tracy earlier, and I told her that is a concern of mine, is that since the residents that front on the section of Linden Creek Parkway that we're going to rehabilitate, it's about 1,200 feet east of Linden Road, the ones paying for the entire road, other than the money contributed by the DDA and the engineering, they'd be paying the entire cost. If they don't approve that assessment, that road won't get done. And that road is a major priority to GM. And we actually asked them at that meeting we were at earlier this year that I did with Karen and the road commission, and they said they didn't want to put any money for it. But I mean, I told Tracy today, I thought it would be appropriate if I'm willing to do it, if we send an email to GM, just letting them know that we didn't get any of the businesses in the back to contribute. And so far, we've got no word from the state. Now, I sent Ananick another email a few weeks back regarding that state money. He hasn't answered it yet. That either means that he hasn't gotten around to it yet, or maybe he's working on something. But I'm going to resend that email again tomorrow just to ask him to please respond one way or the other so that we know. So I think GM needs to know, and I don't know if they can influence these businesses in the back at all, or if they want to look at it differently. But again, if that is not approved by the assessment, but the businesses are in that assessment, the road won't get built. So I just wanted to throw that out there and let you know what the alternatives are if it's not approved at the next public hearing.
So we have a motion on the floor with support, and that's to set the public hearing for Linden Creek Parkway Special Assessment District 105 for October 5th. Mrs. Tucker, would you please take the roll call vote?
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Castle?
Yes.
Trustee Klee?
Yes.
Trustee Vert?
Yes.
Trustee Fapdahl?
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson?
Yes.
Motion's unanimous.
Thank you. Action item C is Marketplace Special Assessment District 106 to set the public hearing for October 5th. Mrs. Tucker, did you want to go over the numbers?
Sure. So again, this one would start next year because the project won't be done until next year. And the cost per parcel is $37,000. And the breakdown is as follows. The cost of construction is $404,505. The contingencies are $40,000, $40,450.50. The engineering is $105,000 for a total of $549,955.50. The road commission will pay $105,000 for the engineering. The DDA will input the $111,238.88. And the total left for the parcel owners to pay is $333,716.63. And again, that would be split over 12 years. They would have the option to pay in full the first year, and then after that, they would have a small percentage of interest rate, whatever our cost is, to pay over the 12 years.
So we need a motion. Do we have a motion in a second?
Not
We didn't
yet.
do that yet.
Mm-mm.
Anybody?
We would move that we move forward with the Marketplace Road project dated 2020, but to begin in 2021.
Public hearing set for October 5th.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a second to that motion?
Anderson supports.
Thank you. Any further questions for Mrs. Tucker or Mr. Pfeiffer?
Thank you to both of them for the work on this.
It was a lot of work. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Mrs. Tucker, will you take the roll call, please?
Sure. Trustee Castle,
Yes.
Trustee Klee,
Yes.
Trustee Vert,
Yes.
Trustee Fapdahl,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes, thank you.
Motion's unanimous.
Thank you. And again, thank you for the work that I know both of you guys put a lot of time and effort into it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Action item D is for Chief Salter. Do you want to go ahead?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Last Friday, September 18th, was Molly Murphy's last day at our police department. She resigned from her clerical 3 position. Upon her resignation, we started looking for a replacement for her. She's a vital part of our operations there. We interviewed 5 different candidates, and Miss Jenna Scarborough came out top of the list. She's a graduate of Goodrich High School and Saginaw Valley State University. There, she earned her bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2019. For the last 15 months, she's been working with Crime Stoppers. In addition to being the grant project manager, she works a lot with the social media and Excel programs. So I'm asking the board's permission to hire her immediately to replace Molly Murphy at the clerical 3 position in our police department. In addition, with it being a few weeks for Molly, or before our replacement is able to come in, Molly Murphy has stated she will work part-time to hopefully get us through this next 2-3 weeks, even maybe longer than that, to help train the new person that comes in.
At part-time, right?
At part-time, yes.
So a motion would be in order to move forward on the hiring of clerical 3 position for Jenna Scarborough to start. What's your start date, Chief Salter?
October, 2 weeks from probably Monday, I would guess.
10:15.
Clee would move. Whoop, sorry about that.
No, go right ahead.
I would say Clee would move to fill the clerical 3 position with Jenna Scarborough based on the information offered to us this evening by Chief Salter.
Is there a second to the motion? Anderson supports. So with a start date of 10:15 and I.
10/5 will be 2 weeks.
Oh, 10/5,
Yeah.
sorry.
10/5, yeah, 10/5.
I'll have to tell you, one day rolls into the next over here. So we have a motion and a second, and I did ask Chief Salter to mention the fact that he was gonna ask Molly Murphy to come in and try and get her trained when she comes in. So that will be a very temporary part-time position for 5-6 weeks, Kevin?
That's my guess, yes.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions for Chief Salter on the hiring of Jenna Scarborough for the clerical 3 position to begin October 5th? No questions? I guess we're good. Mrs. Tucker, we take the roll call vote on the motion to hire Jenna Scarborough?
Trustee Klee,
Yes.
Trustee Vert,
Yes.
Trustee Fapdahl,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Castle.
Yes.
Motion's
you.
unanimous.
Thank you. Action item E.
Yes, ma'am, that's me again. Pursuant to the board's action requesting a name from the Civil Service Commission, next eligible candidate for a promotion to sergeant, I am officially requesting that the Township Board take action and promote Detective Phil McBride. Phil McBride's, or Detective McBride, has been employed by this police department since 2015. Prior to joining Flint Township, he served as a patrol officer for Flint City for 2 years and 5 years in the city of Milford. Within the last 4 years, he served as a detective for this township. And prior to beginning his law enforcement career, he attended Michigan State University, where he received his Bachelor of Arts degree in social science.
That says it all.
I had a hard time saying that, but yes.
Go
Okay.
green.
We're a little relaxed here. Continue, Chief Salter. Are you
That's-
done?
Again, that's my little thing on Detective McBride. So I'm asking the board to officially recognize him and promote him to sergeant.
So I just want to state that Treasurer Anderson and Trustee Vert, acting as deputy supervisor, met with the controller and with assistant controller and Chief Salter and discussed the letter of understanding that you have received in regards to Phil McBride staying with the retiree health care that he's in, which is eliminates the legacy cost when he retires. He won't receive retiree health care. And then also staying with the MERS plan that he's in, which requires 25 years of service and attaining the age of 55 and out, which is a much more inexpensive MERS plan than the current COAM contract calls for our current command officers, who there's a cost of living adjustment in there. So Phil McBride's good with it. The COAM union has given us a letter of understanding, which that's really a great cooperation. And I thank Treasurer Anderson and Trustee Vert for watching out for that and trying to work this out. So everything has fallen into place, and a motion would be in order to promote Phil McBride to sergeant.
We would move that we promote Detective Philip McBride to the new position as a sergeant in Flint Township, as well as following the recommendations and the letters of understanding that Treasurer Anderson and Deputy Supervisor Vert purposely chased after and made sure we're all in place for us to review.
I want to put it out there too that COAM was very willing to work with us, so I appreciate that. Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Did you get that, Tracy? So is there any discussion on that? No? There's no questions or discussion. Tracy, would you take the roll call on promoting Detective McBride to sergeant effective? When is it effective, Kevin?
We're going to hopefully do the swearing in tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the pavilion in front of our PD.
In front?
Yes, the pavilion in front of our PD outside.
Okay, at 4 p.m. tomorrow, so it's immediate. If there's no further discussion or questions, Mrs. Tucker, we take the roll call vote, please?
Sure. Trustee Vert,
Yes.
Trustee Fapdahl,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Kessel,
Yes, yes.
Trustee Klee.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Action item F, Chief Salter.
Yes, first, thank you, board, for that. And action item F is police station parking lot repair. I know about a month ago, 2 months ago, I brought in front of you a quote to get our parking lot rehabilitated. We met with Mike Pfeiffer last week, and we found some different issues that I think needs to be addressed. I think Mike will be able to explain a little bit better than I will about what issues they are. I think it's something that does need to get done, though. So, Mike, if you would for me, please.
Sure, Chief Salter. Yes, earlier this year, the board, first of all, I sent a cost estimate to Karen. I think she forwarded it to everybody. Does everybody have the cost estimate for the Flint Township Police Department parking lot maintenance work?
I sent it by email today.
Oh, today?
It's got 3 different Roman numerals on there, 1, 2, and 3. And it's entitled Flint Township Police Department Estimated Cost for Parking Lot Maintenance Work.
I think we have it. If you want to continue, Mike.
Okay, sure. But item number 1 is the maintenance work that was previously approved by the Township Board. I didn't make it clear with Chief Salter exactly what that work included. And I take responsibility for that. I should have made it much more clear exactly what was proposed. I assumed that he understood, and that was wrong. So that's why we're here today. So the first estimate I put together, which the board's already approved, it is to do pretty much exactly what we did at the township parking lot. We would clean and seal all the existing cracks, and then we would put an asphalt seal coat over that. We're also going to repair 2 existing catch basins that are in a state of structural disrepair. And then we put all the pavement markings back. Well, when we met last week, Chief Salter, myself, and Deputy Supervisor Barbara Vert, we noticed a couple areas that are beyond what a crack sealing would do. You've got one area where when the parking lot was extended on the south side of the police station, it was extended to added about, I think, another 8 spots when the park was established there. Well, where that joint of the newer parking lot meets the old, it wasn't done properly. So basically we have settlement all the way across there, and it is not only a structural issue, it also could be a trip hazard if anybody walked over it. So what I did, and then there were other areas where the cracks were significant, multiple cracks that were adjacent to each other, what we call alligator cracking. And we could have seal coated that, but the best alternative would be to pull that asphalt out and put new asphalt in its place. So anyhow, after we talked about these options, I went out and I measured all the areas that would need this more significant repair. And back to the first part, the project that was previously approved by the board was $18,222. Okay. And what I did is I looked at these areas where we'd actually have to remove 4 inches of asphalt and put 4 inches of asphalt back at spot locations. And the estimated cost to do that would be a total of $29,250. Now, what I did, I also looked for the most critical areas in case budget was an issue. And I do have a separate estimate of $4,200 to cover what would be the most critical areas. But technically, they all should be dealt with, if not now, soon, but the sooner the better. So anyhow, I had no idea what the budget was, Chief. So I talked to Beth Takis, who knows everything there is to know about the budget in Flint Township. And she told me that the police department's currently running about $200,000 under their estimated budget. So I don't know exactly how to interpret that. I'm sure Chief, you and Supervisor would be able to relate to that probably better than I am, but it sounds like you do have some extra money that could become available because we're already literally almost to October. And so the total additional cost to do all the work, including the work that was previously proposed. Well, first, the additional work would be a total of 32,175, including construction and engineering. Together with the original 18,222, it'd be a little bit over 50,000. But I think if the money is available, it would be the right thing to do. As I said earlier, I misunderstood the chief's intent, and I thought we just wanted to seal up the cracks. But as I said, these areas are more than one single crack. They're multiple, and we can still seal them, but that doesn't mean that they're going to last nearly as long. So the proper thing to do would be to fix them all right now. And so I have that estimate about 32,175 to do that. Now I actually measured all the areas I thought were bad, but there probably could be, some other areas that could be dealt with, or some areas might have to go a little bit farther. So I always recommend that we include a 10% contingency to account for possible additional quantities that we might have to utilize in the field. So if we did that, that would add another construction cost wise, it would add another $2,925 to the project. So hopefully everybody's found the cost estimate I did, so they can actually relate to all those numbers I mentioned. So I guess what needs to be determined is the money available to proceed with this project. It has been determined it is necessary, and it would be the proper thing to do. It just boils down to the fact if the additional money is available to do the work.
Hey,
Any
Mike, real quick,
questions?
I got a question real quick, Mike.
Sure.
Maybe so the rest of the board knows too. What would happen if we do not address this issue within the next year or two? I mean, sooner or later we're going to have to address this. Is it going to get worse and worse every year?
Well, yeah. You never know, Chief, how the weather's going to react to it. But when you have multiple cracks, what the next thing that can happen, it would start popping out the pieces of asphalt. So you could end up with an area like a 4 by 6 inch area where the loose asphalt popped out of there, and then you kind of got a hole in your parking lot that you're going to have to patch with some type of asphalt material. So that would be the worst case scenario. The best case scenario, it would continue to function like it has a few years, but sooner or later it's going to turn into a bigger problem. We just really don't know how long that could be. So the best thing to do is to take care of it now when we're doing all this other work, so we don't have to go back a few years later and redo a lot of things that could have been done now. So it's best to eliminate any cracks, and all parking lots should have a regular maintenance program to make sure that whenever a crack does appear, that it's sealed, because that's the worst thing that can happen to a parking lot. When it starts to crack, the water gets into those cracks and it starts to freeze and thaw. What that does, it widens the crack, and then it also makes them expand. So we can seal it, but it would have a limited life, and it's very possible it's going to have to be dealt with in the future. And I think Chief doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to have to come back in a few years and attend to a few other things. He'd rather get his parking lot up to par, now if he can. And by the way, I did develop an estimate for the chief of a more significant fix to rehabilitate that parking lot, which would be to mill 2 inches of the existing asphalt, repair the base, and then to resurface with 2 inches of asphalt. But I think that total estimate construction wise for both the north and south parking lots, and we're also talking about the driveways that go out to O'Neill and Norco Drive, that would be also rehabilitated. That would be about 170,000, I think, is what my estimate was. So basically we can do a rehabilitation project for $50,000 that's going to last a good, I would say, 8, 9, 10 years. You can't necessarily get another 20 years out of it right now, because the fact that it was built 20 years ago and it's near its life right now. And also, I don't think, talking with the chief, that it was very well maintained over the years. I think that it's only had the cracks sealed one time, is my understanding, maybe 2 times. So that's the reason why it got to be in its condition it's in now also, is because the cracks are never sealed and they just continue to multiply.
So Mike, you said $50,000. What is that?
Well, what that is going to do, basically, we'll get all those areas where we have the most significant alligator cracking, We actually pull that asphalt out. Instead of trying to seal it, we'll remove it at spot areas, and then we'll put new asphalt back in its place. And then after we get all those patches done, then we'll proceed with filling the remaining cracks where they're more singular cracks and they don't have a alligator type cracking, which means that you just have random cracks crisscrossing each other that are very close together in the same immediate area. So so we'll stabilize the areas that are the biggest structural problem, that are the weakest, and then we'll seal up all those existing cracks so we don't have to worry about the water getting in there and freezing and thaw to create new cracks. So as I said, it's a significant, I think I would term it to go from a maintenance project to more of a rehabilitation project. So
I'm sorry.
a much more significant fix than what we currently.
Can you shut the fuck up?
Right. Okay, Madam Supervisor, I'm ready to make,
We're gonna pause here. Jerry, can you please mute the people who have joined us? They're
Daddy, no. Don't listen to that bitch. She crazy.
Boy.
Man,
Oh,
don't
pussy's
listen
hard.
to that bitch, bro. Ugly ass bitch.
Terry, can you get rid of those people?
Hey Terry, pop that fucking tit, nigga. Pop that tit, nigga. Oh my god.
Hey, yo, Frank, bro. Frank, I see you. Sexy ass man, bro.
Frank, yo, Frank,
You
you wanna
one
eat this
sexy
Frank
ass
daddy?
man, though.
Daddy.
I'm sure they have parents somewhere.
Let me get a bite on the cheek, boy.
Pop a fucking tit, shorty.
Let me
Pop
get a
a
bite on the
tit, you
cheeks,
heard?
Frank.
You heard? On my Timbs. On my Timbs, pop that tit.
Their audio is still there.
And your dick is still in my mouth. Hey Tom, can I suck that dick?
I'm gonna come on your grandma's face.
I think we're good now, right?
I don't know.
I think they need a visit from the police department.
I'm ready to make a motion,
go right ahead.
but I just want to be clear. Am I making the motion on the $32,175?
Yes, because well, plus I recommend the contingency, right? But also the engineering. You have 32,175 that include 29,250 for the construction, 2,925 for contingencies, and then the engineering on top of that is another 2,925. Whoa! Coincidentally, that's the same amount as the contingency. So the total amount would be 32,175 plus 29,25, which I did not total for some reason. So that would be.
I have 52,397.
Where are you guys, what numbers you putting together?
There was the 18,222, which we previously approved.
Correct.
Right.
Then the 32,175 for this new section or the new
Okay.
work with a 5% contingency, which was about 5,000. I came up with 52,397. Is that what you have?
Well, yeah, but I don't think we need to consider the original project, do we, Supervisor Miller? Since it
No,
was
you're
already
right.
approved?
You're right.
Yeah, so I think we're looking at the extra. So once again,
Sorry.
the extras are, I've got the math now. It would be 29,250 for the estimated construction cost. The contingencies, 10% contingencies that we may not have to use, or maybe we want to use a little bit of it. It's just good to have it in case, things are a little bit different when we actually go to do the work. So we won't use that unless we have to, but that'd be $2,925. And then the engineering is also $2,925. So you total those all together, I got $35,100. Would be engineering, construction, and contingencies. And then, yes, you had the previous project that you already have approved, which is 18,222.
Okay. Did you get
So
that?
the-
Madam Supervisor, I'd like to motion and then go into discussion, right?
Yes.
I'd like to make
Go
a
ahead.
motion that we move forward with the police station parking lot repair for a total amount up to $35,100.
Is there a second to the motion?
We would second that and support it.
And Treasurer Anderson, did you have a question? Trustee Vert?
I didn't have a question.
Go ahead, Trustee Anderson. I mean, Treasurer Anderson.
I didn't have the question. I was saying Barb Bird.
Trustee Vert, go ahead.
So the amount is 35,175, right?
35,100.
100.
I'll double check my math.
So it's number 3. You have
35,100. Yes. Yes, it's number 3 with the 2925 of contingency added, if needed.
If needed.
Okay.
And before we're all done, I did want to touch on one other thing. I was just dealing with the parking lot. So if you'd let me just talk one more time in the discussion period, I guess.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. There also, Chief, you know, on your sidewalk there that's up on the north side of the building there, it has some subgrade problems. So it's settled, it's kind of moved around, and so it's got big open wide joints. The one thing we can do to remove and replace it would be pretty costly. So I didn't look at that, but I didn't know what the budget was. So I just wanted to add to this conversation, let you know that that is an issue, and I think you know that. But it looks like the joints were sealed with some type of silicone material at one time, which is pretty much all gone. So I talked to that contractor, you know, that's doing the other work there, and he can pull out and clean all those joints between the sidewalk and refill those open joints with a silicone type material. And he said he would do it for oh geez, just I got to go to my desk. I apologize. Okay. Okay. Oh, that wasn't the right paper.
Did you recognize any of those names from school?
I'm sorry, but I kind of temporarily
Hang on one
missed
second, Karen.
one there. But what I wanted to know, Chief, is that something you'd be interested in? I can find the numbers in just a minute. Is that something that you would want to do now or consider?
I'd have to look at it first, of course, to see what it is.
Okay.
Numbers. We can probably talk about that next time we come out.
How about we talk about that further? Because as I say, I could do an estimate to, you know, which I already got to seal the joints, but I could also give you an estimate to remove and replace all the slabs that have moved so that we totally rehabilitate it properly. So if that's okay with you, then we'll deal with that separate. I hate to have to possibly come back to the board again, but that's something I noticed when I was measuring the parking lot up, that we have a lot of issues with that sidewalk.
Yes, we do.
So that's okay. We can discuss that later then.
Yeah, please. Next time we meet, you can show me what we're talking about. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
So we have a motion and a second to do an additional repair at the police department in the amount of not to exceed $35,175,000. Were there any further questions or discussion? No.
Aaron, who was the second on that? I didn't get who that was.
Was that Trustee Vert? Did you? Oh, it was Trustee Klee.
Okay, thank you.
No further discussion. Mrs. Tucker, would you please take the roll call vote on the motion for the additional repairs to the police department parking lot, the police station parking lot in not to exceed $35,175? Or actually, Mrs. Anderson, did you say 35,100?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I had.
Sorry.
Okay, that's all
I
right.
have a question then. How come it's only 100, not 175?
Well,
The amounts are,
Oh my God.
because I believe 32,175 plus 2925 is 35,100.
twice.
Got it.
Okay, got it.
Sorry. I just want to be clear.
I get it.
No
Thanks
problem.
for the question. Mrs. Tucker?
Okay, Trustee Fafdal,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Castle,
yes,
Trustee Klee,
Yes.
Trustee Vert.
Yes.
Motion's unanimous.
Thank you. Action item G is to set the trick-or-treating hours for Halloween. And you have a memo in your packet from Clerk Funk that states that she's interested, we're interested, are we interested in setting the trick-or-treating hours for Halloween for October 31st from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. A motion is in order if we want to move forward on that.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and set the trick-or-treating hours for Saturday, October 31st from 5:30 to 8, unless an executive order from the governor does not allow for trick-or-treating.
Is there a second to the motion?
Clee would support.
Any further discussion? Yes, Trustee Castle?
since this is on a Saturday, is there any problem with starting earlier and ending earlier? So it'll be light out for the kids the whole time. Like from 4 to 6:30 or something like that.
Can't hear him.
So I don't think there's an issue. But I will say, I don't think that us setting the hours at 5:30 will impede anybody from starting earlier, because I've seen them start earlier. The younger kids go out earlier. And if we stop it at 8, I'm going to say that probably not everyone is going home at 8 p.m. on the dot. So it just sets a guidelines, I'd say. And our police department's not going to chase anybody home after 8 p.m. So unless anybody's interested in changing those hours, I just, it's pretty much a guideline. Anyone else have any input? No?
I agree, Karen. They kind of do what they want anyways, basically. They stay late, they start early.
Well, I hate Halloween, so you know how I'm voting, but anyway, if there's no further discussion, we have a motion on the floor to set our trick-or-treating hours for October 31st from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mrs. Tucker, will you please take the roll call vote?
Treasurer Anderson,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Absolutely not.
Trustee Castle,
Yes, reluctantly.
Trustee Klee,
My verbiage is Mr. Castle stated as well. Yes.
okay.
With a
Trustee Vert,
Yes.
Trustee Fafdahl.
Yes.
That passes. Thank you.
Yeah.
We move on to the last item. It's an invoice from Equiture DSS. I sent you all an email late to let you know that we've been archiving since, I'm going to guess it was 2014, possibly 2015. And the first township, when the board originally approved archiving, they set the budget not to exceed 25,000. And then every year since, we've set the budget. It's been as high as 30,000. It's been as low as 4,000 or 5,000. We're still not done. We're still trying to get our records archived. And this last year, it's been a year, they got behind on their work. And I don't know if it had to do with COVID too, but things piled up and they weren't archiving. And we had trouble getting our documents. I know the building department couldn't access their documents because they were sitting in a warehouse to be archived. Anyhow, they waited and waited. And when they finally did it, they handed me a bill. And you have the bill in front of you. I paid 10,000 of it. And this is what's left. I argued with them starting in June. I said, we've never done this in the past. They've archived stuff and they give us a bill. And if we had it in the budget, we did some more. And this year they handed me the bill when they were done working, and it was very large. And I said, we're not paying this. You'll notice on the invoice, they took 20% off. They gave us a $7,000 credit. I'm sorry, $6,979.57. We owe $27,918.27. The work was done. It wasn't budgeted. Therefore, I can't approve a budget amendment. Only the board can. And I'm asking for a motion to pay this bill.
Make a motion that we pay the bill in the amount of $27,918.27, and that we amend the budget to cover the cost of that.
From general fund to archiving. Now, we won't be doing any more archiving the rest of this year, and we will be staying within our budget next year, whatever amount we set, as we're working on the budget. Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Cleveland support.
Have a support from Trustee Dahl. Is there any questions or further discussion on this? Hearing none, Mrs. Tucker, will you take the roll call vote on paying the DDS Equiture bill in the amount of $27,918.27 with a budget amendment from general fund to archiving?
Supervisor Miller,
Regrettably, yes.
Trustee Castle,
No.
Trustee Klee,
Yes.
Trustee Vert,
Yes.
Trustee Fafdahl,
Yes.
Treasurer Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-1.
Thank you. I don't have any further business to come before the board, and if no one else has anything to say, Treasurer Anderson, go ahead.
Just want to ask, because I like to think outside the box and be just a little specious, however that word is. On Linden Creek Parkway, can we make it like a little mini toll road or have arms on it so those that aren't contributing can pay a fee to come up that road, and those that, yes, Tom, thank you. Just like that. Mike?
I don't know of any fee roads. I can talk to the road commission about it. It would ultimately be the road commission that I had to agree with it because it is a public road under jurisdiction of Genesee County Road Commission. But I got a feeling that they might continue to use Maple Avenue if we were to do something like that, which would kind of defeat one of the main purposes, which is to try to favors Money Township to take the traffic off Maple. I mean, it has every right to be there, but I think everybody knows it's really a sore spot with Mundy Township. And we had a meeting there at that GM meeting also. And we kind of, committed to them that we would have hopefully improved Linden Creek Parkway to resolve that problem. But I can certainly talk to the road commission about it if you want to know the answer to that. But I think the place is in the back too. That's why I want to talk to GM. I don't know if they could be any help or not, but I'm at least going to make GM aware of it and see if they can't do something, if they could at least talk with their suppliers and let them know that this is something they strongly support and want done. And maybe that will change the way they look at it. I don't know, but I'm willing to try. So do you want me to check with the road commission?
Yeah, I think that's good.
I will, just to find out what the possibilities are. Because I agree, the people in the back, they use the road more so even than the people that are adjacent to it, I believe. Because they supply GM, it's an on-time supply chain that they have to do. So they actually coming and going all day bringing these parts because it's an on-time business. I'm sure John would know about that better than I, but they use the road quite a bit.
So
they don't want to pay.
You'll check with the road commission because there's a split right at that bridge that is Flint Township on the east or the west side and City of Flint on the other side, right?
Yeah, I will. I will talk to the road commission and see what they have to say about it. And I will report back before the board meeting. I'll send an email within the next few days as soon as I get something back with them, and I will copy. I will copy the emails I know, and then hopefully maybe somebody else could get it to the rest of the board members. I know the email, of course, Supervisor Miller, Treasurer Anderson, and Deputy Supervisor Trustee Vert, but I don't have any of the other ones. So if I get it to say you, Karen, you'll make sure anybody else gets it then?
Yeah. So you're going to reach out to the road commission and also Jim Ananek, right?
Yeah, I'm going to follow through with Jim Ananek and ask him to answer my email, please, one way or the other. Either it's a yes or a no, because he hasn't gotten back to me yet. It's been almost a month. And then also I'm going to talk with GM.
Okay,
Just make them
thank you.
fully aware of the situation, because I think that they would probably be pretty upset if that road doesn't go forward. And
Okay.
I'm at least going to make them aware of what all the considerations are and the factors are, so if they can help, now's the time.
All right, thank you. And one last thing before we go. We've been having Zoom meetings now for 6 months, and I know Zoom has made their platform more secure. That's the first.
Join the KKK, y'all. Join the KKK.
Tom was going to
Yeah,
ask
join the
if you know any of
KKK.
these
Shut the
people,
fuck
but we'll
up,
call the
bitch.
meeting
What the fuck is your hair?
closed. Thank you, everyone.
I'm the fucking shit.
Terry, can you shut this off, please? Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.